Hey there, Happy New Year. This is CosmicEggProject.com, and I am here to tell you how to prioritize for the coming year. So, 2021 is auspicious in every way because it is not 2020. It is ruled by the number 5, and the way that you get that is you add 2 plus 2 plus 1, 2021. Together. So we have a 5, and every 5 card in the tarot deck can be looked at for advice this year in terms of how we're prioritizing our experience, our great work. So let me tell you a little bit about the number 5. I used to find it really intimidating. I mean, these 2 cards don't look so happy, and the major arcana card is the Hierophant, and I have not always been fond of the idea of hierarchy, so I sort of was repelled by the Hierophant, to be honest, when I first started studying tarot. But I have learned a lot in the past 35 years, and now I kind of like the Hierophant in many ways. They serve a great place in the cosmic egg. So I like to think of the Hierophant as a they, them, sort of non-gender specific, because I've just been in places where, goddess worshippers are led by a woman, and I've been in places where I've really enjoyed services run by a man. So that leadership doesn't have to be one gender or another in my book. And really, look, did we have to decide this is a man or a woman? No, we don't. So they are doing quite well as a leader of our spiritual journey. And that's not to say you are not the Hierophant. You are the Hierophant. And you are also the students who are down here with their little robes, which I always thought, well, they look like their collars are the letter Y. And so I used to laugh all the time and say, well, they're asking why? Why is the sky blue? So let me be serious for a moment. Number 5 is just following the emperor, who was all about organizing society, organizing our lives, and just before the Lovers, where we have a nice rebellion going on. So in between those must-dos and must-not-dos, we have the Hierophant teaching why. Let me say that, first of all, the Hierophant has their feet on a treasure box. You see the keys? When you see those keys in any religious drawing, they represent the treasury. So literally, the Hierophant is grounded in the treasury of knowledge. And the initiates here are not quite ready to open it. And the Hierophant is telling the initiates that someday, you see this 3 fingers up? That represents the someday, the hand of benevolence. Yes, someday they will be ready, but not now. And the pontiff's hat and the scepter with 3 crosses on it, are also promises. This is 3 levels and 3 levels and 3 fingers. These are related to all the 3s in the cards, but they also represent someday. Someday you'll be ready. The pillars in this drawing are different from the pillars in the High Priestess or Justice. they're Corinthian, so they're special, they're fancy, they're decorated. Part of this is because they're in a temple. Some people like to say this is the other side of where the high priestess is sitting with her curtain. Once you're inside the temple, you begin to understand things that you didn't understand outside. Think of the temple as your body. Once you become aware of what the body needs from the inside to keep it healthy and running well, it makes completely different decisions to be made on the outside world. You may go through the grocery store, for instance, and say, is this really meeting my priorities this year? Is this helping my temple? When you decide what to buy and what not to buy, is this helping my temple? Other ways that the Hierophant can help you make decisions is is your path for learning? What is your great work that you're serving? How are you helping your society, the people in your family, the people that you know? How are you helping them to live better lives? Are your choices in standing with your inner temple, your inner knowing? And that helps you make a decision very well. It begins to help you build a true boundary around your temple so that you are able to know what you let in and what you keep out. And once you're in the temple itself, then you have access to new knowledge, to new ideas, new concepts, new ways of living. The initiates that are kneeling before the Hierophant are as important in this image as the Hierophant themselves. One has the red roses and one has the white lilies. The white lilies represent secrecy and purity, and the red roses represent passion and courage. So both of those things are priorities in your life. You want to be true to yourself, and you also want to have the courage to grow. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Let's look at some of the other cards that are related to 5. Last week we talked about the 5 of Pentacles and the illusions of being on the outside and the illusions of being on the inside. This week, let's add a couple more. This is the 5 of Cups. This is about learning to grieve, to have despair over what has been lost, but also to turn around inside and look at what we still have, having gone through that loss. I think of these cups almost as these 2 initiates. This is what you still have to learn. You still have to learn how to be in the world and how to be in yourself. Let's see. The 5 of Swords is really interesting too. You have 3 characters. Remember the importance of 3 in the 5 of the major arcana in the Hierophant. It's repeated a lot in the 5 cards. So in this card you have one character who clearly has won the battle and is very pleased with all the swords, collecting them. You have another character who has lost the battle completely, is in despair. And then you have one character who's walking away, just doesn't want to be involved in this fight anymore. And I usually let a querent decide what part they really play in a situation. And I always encourage them to consider the third way, which is away. It's walking away from the whole battle. I like to think of these two other characters also as pillars. One is a winner, one is a loser. One is dark, one is light. And this is the third way. One is severity, one is mercy, one is the middle way. And then we have the Five of Wands. I loved what my tarot teacher, Isabel Clegman Radau, said. She liked to point out that this card could be a barn raising, where they're all working together to build something bigger than themselves. I like also to think of this as creative brainstorming, where everyone is contributing something and they haven't yet decided who is winning, or if that is even possible, or important who wins or who loses. That this is creativity, and at this moment in time, everything is up in the air. Again, 3 of the wands are facing up essentially, and 2 are crossing them. So I like those cards a lot. But I always felt also that these cards, particularly this one, were like a bee sting. In other words, that you were stung by a lesson learned. And that is exactly, to me, what the fives represent is, we learn new things often by the mistakes we make. And the Hierophant can make sense of those mistakes. The last card that I want to show you for the number 5 is the Temperance card. Now, how did I get that? It has anything to do with 5s. Well, just like the year, you add 1 and 4, and that equals 5. So the Temperance card, again, is making sense of 2 different liquids, is concentrating on giving and taking, trying and failing, making baby steps, little teeny baby steps to reach a goal. You don't have to, once you go into the temple, you don't learn everything all at once. Those why questions, why is the world round, those don't get answered right away. In fact, sometimes you reach a place where in the temple of yourself, you begin to understand those why questions don't really matter as much as how. How do I make my life better? How do I make more sense of what I'm doing? How do I let go? How do I move forward? Where am I going? Those questions become much more important than why. But you learn this in Temperance, which has to do with pacing and time, temperature. How heated are you getting over something that doesn't matter? Sorry, I'm trying these new ideas to make the videos easier. Doesn't always work. But you have the 5 of Swords next to the Temperance card. You begin to see, maybe I'm pushing too hard, or maybe I need to turn around and stand my ground, and maybe I need to walk away. Those are all part of Temperance, is understanding how the temper, your own temper, can get in the way or can help you make a new decision. I also like to think of Temperance as the sun rising on your correct great works path. So you see the path there and you know that that's which way you're going, but you have to create the right magic to make it happen, to make your way makes sense. So I like to think of the angel Gabriel, who's often involved with tarot, as setting us straight on our path and doing it in a way that says, hey, slow down, this is the truth, pay attention. Okay, so this year, 2021, is going to be all about the fives and really learning the lessons that it presents and understanding that when we're in our own temple, we must respect its rules and their offerings of truth that we don't expect necessarily. And we have to balance, we have to temper our passions and our courage with the truth and purity that we're trying to attain. We need to look at how those threes, 1, 2, 3, really matter. Are we looking at the chakras that are triggered by the number 5? Our base chakra, our wisdom chakra, the solar plexus, our heart. Are we trying to bring those into alignment? Essentially, we are working very hard at finding our inner balance after a tumultuous year, 2020, in which the ground and the order of the world seem to have been shaken completely. We are now in our temple and we are learning lessons that are important to our balance and our ability to go back out into the world and love again. So I respect that this year, it makes perfect sense that this year is ruled by the Hierophant and supported by Temperance. I hope that this was interesting to you, and I'm going to see if this can, look, it's still going. I'm learning how to do these videos, and I hope that this reading helped you and that you found it engaging and that you'll come and visit me at Cosmic Egg Tarot. Thanks again and Happy New Year.